Happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome back into Gamecock Central. I'm Kendall Smith, joined alongside of Collyn Taylor right outside of Williams-Brice Stadium. It's been just a couple of hours since it was announced that South Carolina will take on Notre Dame in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl on December 30th at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. And Collyn, this is a pretty big-time matchup for the Gamecocks, playing a very storied program, obviously in a bowl game that's a jump up from last year's Duke's Mayo Bowl. What do you think about the matchup?
I like to call them kind of brochure games. That this is the kind of game, if you win, especially if you're South Carolina, you put it on the brochure. 9 wins in year 2. You beat a program that, you know, is Notre Dame, that's been to the college football playoff, I want to say a couple of times. You beat a storied program. Everyone knows who Notre Dame is. So this is a chance, if you're South Carolina, I think, to really make a statement in terms of being able to beat a premier program like Notre Dame. And for the fans, I think this is the overwhelming favorite for South Carolina fans. If they couldn't get the Citrus Bowl, where it's 4.5 hours away, you can go down there. It's not on New Year's Eve. It's on a Friday. It's in the middle of the afternoon. So I think this is a really good thing for South Carolina in a win. You understand why South Carolina's administration, why Shane Beamer and this program really wanted to go to the Gator Bowl. And I think it's a really, really good opportunity for this program.
I didn't see anybody mad about it on Twitter, so that's always a good place to start.
Yes.
People very excited about this matchup, like you said, pretty close to Columbia, South Carolina. And we're outside of Williams-Brice right now, not just because we drove over here to hang out and film this show, but because Shane Beamer just finished up a press conference talking about the game, talking about the offensive coordinator search, talking about an array of things, not yet revealing who the play caller is going to be for the bowl game. He actually said that he probably won't even share that, Collyn, which I thought was an interesting note. And then he also mentioned that bowl practice will begin a week from this upcoming Thursday. So Collyn, kind of take us through what it's like preparing for a bowl game if you're South Carolina. You've done this for a while, not calling you old or anything.
I feel old.
But what's that prep like for South Carolina as they head into this game?
It's kind of a miniature training camp. So usually it depends on the coach and how he wants to structure it and how different coaches approach it differently. A lot of coaches approach the first week of bowl training camp, however you really want to refer to it, as a mini camp for younger players, the guys who maybe didn't get enough playing time during the season, or developmental guys, redshirt guys. Let's get them a lot of reps. Let's improve some of the fundamentals, some of the things that we struggled with during the season, get some of these younger guys up to speed, some more reps for them, which can always help. And then you go into usually your second week of prep, and then at the bowl site, and that's more of a game plan, normal practice week. And Shane Beamer mentioned he liked doing it. They did that last year, where they'll have 3 to 4 practices, a Sunday, typically a Tuesday, like during the season, a Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, and install their game plan through that. And that's kind of how he structures it. And I think that's how you'll see it from, at least this year, where you get the younger players some developmental work here in Columbia, and then at the end of that, and then into on-site practice, you'll see more game plan installation.
A lot of players still with decisions to make regarding the bowl game. Shane Beamer said he hadn't heard from anyone specifically that they weren't playing. He said he hadn't really talked to Cam Smith since he sent out that tweet. It appears he probably will not play in the bowl game, but still, he didn't really have much to say on that, although Spencer Rattler will be for sure playing in the bowl game, which is huge for South Carolina.
Yeah, and these bowl decisions on whether to sit or not sit and play, some of it has to do with location, some of it has to do with opponent. We'll see if any of those start to trickle out over the next 5-10 days before South Carolina really gets into the heat of bowl practice. But with Spencer, it's huge for South Carolina. He's playing probably the best ball, for sure the best ball of his time in Columbia. Anything to kind of keep that offense going, and it's another data point potentially for him to get evaluated by NFL scouts and NFL teams, whether he decides to stay here or go pro. So that's a good thing for South Carolina to try to keep that offensive momentum going, and we'll see what that looks like when December 30th against Notre Dame.
It's going to be here before we know it. I'm not rushing through Christmas yet.
No.
I want to enjoy the Christmas season.
Plenty of Hallmark movies to
relish
watch.
in it, Christmas cookies, hot chocolate, Christmas lights, ice skating. But then after that, it's kind of nice because it's right before New Year's Eve. You don't have to miss it, but you get that post-Christmas event to look forward to. So it's a great matchup for the Gamecocks. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl on December 30th at 3:30 against Notre Dame. Collyn, we'll have so much more coming up regarding We've got some Christmas presents, some holiday presents for you with all of our coverage coming up on Gamecock Central. You don't want to miss out, so go ahead and subscribe at GamecockCentral.com. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on all of our social media pages at Gamecock Central. And Collyn, we'll be back before we know it on the video and doing our After the Sandstorm.
We always are.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. He's Collyn Taylor. I'm Kendall Smith, and we will see you next time on Gamecock Central.